of the things we figured out when doing our shakedown was how hard it was to climb in and out of the companionway. On the previous boat on Serendipity, we had just the regular companionway doors, but we had more room above our Dodger to climb in and out. So if we did have those in place, it actually was fairly easy to get in and out. But also we needed to be able to put in a security type screen, something that we can still have airflow coming through and shut it off. Yeah, protection. So just to slow someone down. It's not going to be a foolproof thing, but as long as we can slow a criminal from coming at us, we're all right.
Take away that crime of opportunity.
Yep, the crime of opportunity, which is what typically happens. So what we've come up with, we still wanted to be able to use our companionway boards. So if we are offshore or anywhere else, we can still put them in the slot and cover this thing up. They're the pieces of acrylic here, 1/2-inch acrylic.
Original, which is why they're all scratched
Which
out.
is original. Yep, they're all scratched out. They're crazed. We should replace them anyway because they're actually probably not the strongest things anymore, but that's later on. We'll get to that. One of the things that we were looking at is making a set of kind of Dutch doors where a lower section and then have it split in the middle where you can flip them open. Problem with that is when they do flip open, they're actually going to cover our chart plotter here. So we needed to come up with kind of a different idea. What we did is, so our plan now is to do one solid door, have the hinges over on this side, and then have it rotate and flip over this direction. We can still close the companionway top, the hood, slide that over, and get in and out easy, especially when we're in the cold climate. We really don't want that heat to escape, so it's going to be one of the things. So we did make up just a quick template, beautiful crude drawing, but at least gives us the idea what it's going to be. These will be inserts, so we'll have plexiglass that goes in there, a type of acrylic. We have a mesh screen, hard, thick aluminum mesh screen that will go in its place, and also a bug screen that goes in its place. So you can switch them out as needed. Make sure that we have the safety, make sure that we can keep ourselves bugs from bugs and still have airflow, and then close it up with those plexiglass pieces as needed. So it's going to rotate.
And there's a piece on the bottom, so that's not just going to be open.
There's a piece that will be permanently, well, not permanently, but will be dropped in the bottom slot here. So that will cover in this area. But this area is going to be flip over like this, and then this will actually be a lift-off hinge. So we can take it off, remove it. If we remove it and throw it in one of the lazarettes, all that will be left will be the hinges and the board that comes across on either side. But everything else will be open then. The way that we're planning on doing this, and I'll have Jess pull up a photo and put that up of our previous boat showing how we made our screen last time. What we did is we sandwiched pieces of aluminum together to make a security screen. Do something similar this time, but just with a little bit different emphasis. We take forever to paint things, as you've seen, so we wanted something that was going to be paint free. The plan right now, we're using 1/4 inch starboard, so I got a 48 by 48 inch piece of starboard. 1/4 inch piece of starboard is going to be the first layer, the top layer that you're going to see from the outside. We'll cut in the inserts as needed, but it'll be all one big piece. Bolted to that is going to be a 1/4 inch aluminum frame. The frame runs across the bottom, sides, middle, and side. So it's going to give it the majority of its rigid structure. Starboard is going to be attached to that again, and then on the back side there will be another piece of starboard with just a duplicate cutout. So from the inside and outside, all you'll see is white starboard. On the middle part, the one that's really giving it strength, is going to be aluminum stock pieces. It should be a fairly simple setup. It's just right now getting the angles and cutting it and cutting out the inserts. But once we have that, we can kind of go over that in a little bit more detail. You know what we need in our video series?
We need more Canadian Mike.
Canadian Mike.
No Canadian Mike.
Yes. You're actually doing a very good job of vlogging.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Star. The red thing behind.
Stop.
Any chance you can grab this?
He's not going to go grab his own machine. Yeah.
You know, I just came around trying to get your face.
But that ain't happening.
Why's that?
I'm so pretty, oh so pretty.
Keep going.
I don't know. There's a pity,
So
how
pretty and witty
pretty.
and long.
And I pity any girl who isn't me tonight. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la.
What's it from?
Mary Poppins?
Is it?
Or is it Mary Poppins?
I know it was in Dirty Dancing, but it's from something else
I
before.
think it's Mary Poppins.
No, I can pretty much guarantee that Mary Poppins did not sing I Feel Pretty.
Oh, really?
It might have been West
See,
Side
I
Story.
thought that was.
I think it was West Side Story.
I'm on my phone because who's going to tell me?
Where's Alexa? Alexa? It is.
Just a second. Yeah, I think we'll get on the program of having what, it was sideways?
No,
We're kind of into day 2 or 3 or something of screwing around with this companionway setup. As you can see, we've cut it down to shape, the starboard piece into shape. Cut out the windows, surrounds, routed over the edge, give it a little bit of a more finished look, and kind of to hide some of my miscuts that aren't the most perfect, but whatever. This is the way that sandwich that I was trying to explain earlier, sandwich construction is going to work. So we have a rigid, one solid piece of 1/4 inch starboard on the outside, still flexible. What's going to add the rigidity are these aluminum bar pieces. They're 1/4 inch, just regular 6061 aluminum. Not real worried about corrosion on this. 3 separate pieces. And then, of course, the lower, the inside section of plastic starboard as well. So these will be bolted together. Once they're bolted together, there should be enough rigidity in it that's going to act as kind of security. That's going to be just easier for us to climb in and out of the companionway. Give us instead of having to pull those drop boards out every single time we want to climb in, easier to get groceries. But the big thing is, because it's 1/4 inch thick, and we're leaving the top section open, we're able to slide in sections of like 3/16 will be perfect, but 3/16 plexiglass or Lexan. So we do have this extra lip along the edge here on the companionway, which sticks out about 3/8 of an inch. So what I need to do is I need to compensate for that 3/8 of an inch, along with an additional 3/4 of an inch for the edge. That will bring it up to just about level with the edge of the actual door. So it should make the hinges fit flush and look a little bit better then as well. So as you can see, that's exactly what we have here, is a 3/8 inch piece of starboard along with a 3/4 inch piece of starboard. Now I haven't cleaned up the edges yet. I need to run through the router again and clean it. It's just fresh off the table saw. But I'll bolt these back into place, and once I do the other side, then I can get the door in place, mount the hinges, and just see exactly how it goes. I did make it extremely tight along the edge between the hinges and the door itself. The reason for that is just try to help prevent some water coming through. We'll see exactly how that's going to work for clearance, if that's going to be enough. If not, we can always sand it down and bring it back a little bit further if need be.
guys, it looks like I will be able to make a quick appearance in this video with one of the projects on my own. Something I completed a few weeks ago actually, and you may have seen just kind of in the background of some of our filming, are the shades for our cockpit. If you go back to episode, I will find it somewhere and list it. If you go back to the episode where I made the awning, I did talk about how we wanted to put shades that would run down to the lifelines to keep the sun off of us. When we did our shakedown, we noticed it was one of those things that we spent a lot of our time outside enjoying the cockpit, but also trying to hide from the sun. So one of the biggest goals before we went cruising again was to find a good way to shade the cockpit. And let me show you what I've done here. Uh-oh, it's sprinkling. Hopefully I can still show you through the rain. And it keeps us protected from the rain. The way we did our sunshades was in 3 separate panels with the starboard and the port side attaching to our top awning by zippers. And that way they're fully connected, so hopefully rain doesn't get in there, no gaps for the sun. And then they just attach down to the lifelines with grommets. We tie them on. Then for the back panel, we couldn't zip it on, unfortunately, because of the bar for our arch that holds up the radar and the solar panel. So what we did is I just made a large square shape that we put grommets in each corner and tie those off. Still kind of testing it out. I'm sure there'll be changes to it once we're cruising, but while we're sitting here in the marina, it's been working well so far. So hopefully this design hasn't made us look like too much of a pop-up camper, but it's done a really good job so far of keeping the sun off but still allowing airflow underneath. And eventually, once we've been out cruising for a little while, we will work on the canvas for the Dodger, which is going to have strata glass. But if you can see the back bar off of the hard Dodger, it will reach back there, so there will still be a little gap for us to get in and out. But otherwise, that's a quick little rundown on that project. And I'll get you back to Matt with the remainder of the swinging door.
Okay, so the bottom board, the filler piece that's going to be in majority of the time, is a sandwich piece. As you can see, I haven't bolted it completely. It's just 2 bolts holding it together for a temporary basis. But we have 3/4, 3/4, and a 3/8 piece of starboard. Pretty darn heavy. But when it fits within the track that's for the typical companionway, creates kind of a good water seal then, so we don't have to worry about rainwater getting in. Again, the whole idea with this is that we can remove it, store this door, and put in our actual acrylic drop boards when we need to, if we're into heavy weather type of thing. So it's just an in-harbor type thing. Okay, so just drops into place. Holds here. I still have to again put wedges in to get it so it's centered, so on and so forth, but creates a nice lip for the door to actually rest against, and then the door also rests against the natural lip of the companionway when it's closed. And again, once we have the handles in place to hold it closed, right now I still have to go through and route out some of the inside area here to make it so it swings a little bit better, but articulates pretty well. Folds up against the side here. We're going to put 2 hatch pins here to hold it into place that we can open from the inside. And then the inserts, metal inserts, they will have a screen as well, a mosquito screen netting to them. And then we have Lexan that's going in place, so we can pull these out, drop in the Lexan boards as needed to give it, more of a watertight type of setup. But again, just pulls out, remove as needed, so we can store it, drop back into place. And it's good to go. The final things that we really need to do for this door to make it work out for us is, again, put in handles to hold it shut, and for security measures, they're just going to be open from the inside with one big long pull. So when you get to the boat, unlock it, padlock here, unlock it, reach, slide this open, reach in, pull up, and release it is the idea. And then we also need a latch to hold it open, so when we do have it in this position, we don't have to worry about it swinging and causing problems that way. So those are 2 things that need to get done. I still need to go through and clean up some of the routing clean up some of the final stuff, but at least gives you an idea as to the direction we're going and what we wanted to accomplish.
And we're gonna be so happy for the airflow, because one thing we learned from our shakedown is that it gets really hot in the boat.
Yeah, way too warm in the boat.
At
So
least in the summer.
this will help out with the airflow. We had on our old boat, we had a port hatch that we could open up on the aft end. So when you did have the forward hatches open, it could actually flow all the way through. This boat doesn't have that. So all the air that would flow in would get kind of stuck and wouldn't allow, of course, more air to flow in either. This way, it's a good exhaust. It's going to allow it to flow out and hopefully keep us much cooler